Bakit sa'yo nagpapakita ang birhen? Bakit hindi sa iba?
Saan ka naniniwala?
Ano bang totoo, Elsa?
Tawagin ng lahat! Mayroon akong mahalagang sasabihin. Walang himala! Walang himala! Ang himala ay nasa puso ng tao. Bawat puso ay pusat ng himala. Sa puso ng tao. Ang bawat tao ay ugat ng himala.
Now, that was Isang Himala, an official entry to the 2024 Metro Manila Film Festival, where some of the country's best theater actors retell one of the most powerful stories ever told in Philippine cinema, Ishmael Bernal's Himala. Now, as director Pepe Diokno holds the torch, he tells us more about the making of the musical film and why Elsa's story is still relevant to this day. It's a beautiful day. Direk, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Paolo and Monique. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Thanks for coming and
Direk.
waking up so early.
I know
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
earlier than my usual.
Let's be fair, none of us are used to this. We do this every day,
Used
but
to
we're still
it.
not used to
Yes.
this. But Direk, first of all, congratulations on the film. It's always going to be one of the bigger tasks for any filmmaker to retell a classic story, a classic film. A lot of people my age should go look back at that, by the way. Himala, Ishmael Bernal. Can you tell us a bit more about how this all came about, first and foremost, and turning it into a musical for the MMFF?
Yeah, well, Himala is a masterpiece by three national artists,
Yeah.
direct Ishmael Bernal, starring Miss Nora Honor,
Yes.
and written by Sir Ricky Lee. That was made in 1982. It was actually in the 1982 Metro Manila Film Festival. But in 2003, Sir Ricky himself turned it into a musical, and it's been staged many times over the last 20 years.
Yes.
2003 at CCP. The latest one was in 2018, 2019, starring Aisel in this cast. And that's the staging that I saw. And it was the most powerful, most emotional experience I've ever had in a theater. I laughed, I cried, it gave me goosebumps, and the experience stuck with me for years. And so I've always had this sort of ambition to bring it back into film. And we're very lucky, very grateful that we got into the Metro Manila Film Festival this year for the 50th edition.
Yeah,
So it's like a sort of like a full circle moment also for Himala.
Derek, can you talk to us more about how that conversation, when you pitched that you wanted to make a musical adaptation of this classic film, how were people reacting when you made that pitch?
Well, I would say that the musical, as it's been staged, is it has its own fan base really, and it's considered one of the greatest original Filipino musicals.
Yeah.
Sir Ricky Sir Ricky's a mentor. I took his workshop, and so I've always been afraid of asking him, but when I finally got the courage, I was very surprised by what he said. He actually challenged us to remake the film both faithfully and unfaithfully. And one of the first things he said was, own it, own this version of yours. So with Vince De Jesus, who wrote the music of the stage play, he also sort of completely reimagined the way he did the music for this. So he turned it into a rock musical. So it's really like bent bent so far away from the original film. And we got the blessing from Sir Ricky and the challenge also to do this.
Direk, you mentioned in previous interviews that in this movie, Aisel Santos is going to be a more complex Elsa. She's your Nora Honor in this movie, right? So,
Ang hirap nun, ah.
oh, yeah, right? Ang hirap for Aisel, diba? So why is this so? Why is she a more complex Elsa in this movie?
Well, I wouldn't say complex. Nora Honor's Elsa was such an enigma, and it's because if you watch the 1982 film, there's not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yes.
silences, and it's a lot of like yung mga tinginan ng
Yeah.
mga actors.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on behind Elsa's facade that you're left wondering what's she really thinking. And when Sariki and Vince De Jesus wrote the musical, the first question they asked was, what if we can give a song to all of those silences? What is Elsa actually thinking and feeling throughout the film? And they put it into song. And so this Elsa is actually more transparent.
Okay.
And because of that, she's more human. What the musical does is it actually expands the narrative. It's not just about Elsa, but it's about how this whole town is transformed by her miracles.
Yeah.
And everyone is, given in this ensemble. Everyone is given their own songs and their own, their own thoughts and feelings are said out loud in these beautiful, powerful songs. And that's why I felt that it's such a different material from the original because of the way the songs are written.
Yeah, and now speaking about songs and musicals, because the key reason why people sing in musicals is because the emotions are too big to be encapsulated in just words, kaya kumakanta sila. Now, to sing those songs that you have, Aisel Santos, Between Escalante,
Yes.
are amazing in terms of their not just the way that they perform, but then the way they act things out. I remember working with Between Escalante before, not singing with her, I only introduced her. Okay, I was like, oh, Between Escalante!
Disclaimer
Pero,
muna.
they are incredible. Just how is it working with them and, funneling yung emotion nila sa cinema. Iba yun eh.
Yeah, well, we have some of the best performers in Philippine theater. And
100%.
Philippine theater is having a renaissance these days. It's hard to get tickets to these shows.
Yes.
So many musicals are playing, and we have some of the best performers. It was such an experience. Like for example, Between, there would be takes of her songs where after her take, the whole cast and crew would just clap because they were so good. And watching Aisel and the whole cast, usually when you shoot a movie, it's not often that I sit behind a monitor and laugh or cry because I know the story and I'm very focused on the work and I'm so familiar with what's going to happen. But seeing these performers, there were really moments where I would cry and I would look to my side and Sariki would be beside me and Sariki would be crying, watching these performances. Really, really amazing. They're such great performers, so professional. We had challenged them because I was like, when I watch the performances on stage, so much of it is in the vocal delivery.
Yeah.
That if we were to lip sync this, I said it's not going to work. It's going to feel fake. So we challenged. So it was a challenge for us. We have to do all the song numbers live, like they did in Les Mis, like they did in Wicked.
Yeah.
Because when you watch it, it just feels so authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was harder for them, but they really, really delivered with the songs.
And you got the stage actors from the production, right, to be cast in this musical film of yours. So how faithful is your film to the stage production of Himala?
It's very inspired by the stage production, which was directed by Ed Lacson in 2018, 2019. So what we have is like something that's in the middle of film and theater.
Okay.
So it's very stylized, and I felt that was the right way to go with this, to sort of honor both cinema and theater.
Now, Direk, my question is, you mentioned earlier the songs have to be like in a rock kind of version. Is there a reason why? Because the first one came out like 42 years ago. So is there a reason you had to make it more modernized, I guess, for the audiences now?
Well, the inspiration really came from Vince De Jesus, who really, originated the musical. I think he was, looking for something with a little bit more punch for the cinematic retelling, and I, agree with that direction. what the music does is it makes it really immersive.
Yeah.
And we actually mix the whole film like Dolby Atmos to really give you that feeling like you're inside Kupang.
yeah.
And that rock music gives you that extra punch.
Yeah, you know, this, just looking at Himala, first of all, just to clarify, kasi right now the trend is that sometimes movies are split into two kasi ang haba ng mga musical.
Yeah.
One-parter lang to, di ba?
One-parter lang.
One-parter lang, right?
promise.
Just to confirm. So it's not a wicked situation, guys.
No.
So, of course, you take a look at the message that you're telling here. Obviously, it's been retold over and over again. It's been modernized. It's been refined throughout the years since 42 years ago. Is there going to be, in your opinion, maybe a different take of the message, or maybe even a further refinement of the story with your version coming up?
Yeah, well, I think people will have to watch it. But yeah, when Sir Ricky said to own this version and to reimagine it both faithfully and unfaithfully, one of the things that I actually got to toy around and play around with is the ending, that iconic ending that everybody quotes, Walang Himala. Of course, the monologue is
Morning.
the monologue is, of course, there as is. But with the way the whole film ends, I felt that if I were to contribute something to the story, it would be in sort of doing the ending in a different way.
You know, again, since the movie came out in the 80s, and to be completely frank, si Ann lang yung nanood during that time.
Walang himala. I know that. Okay.
So,
Super iconic.
Again, for those who did not experience it, what was the thing that left? What was the part of the movie that left such a big impression on you, the original one, that you want to sort of bring out even now? Again, despite the fact it's a musical, it's a retelling, it's a remake. There's so many things that you're redoing here. What is the consistent message that from the first one you want to bring it out here?
For me, the story is about truth and lies. It's about faith and blind faith. It's about how all of us, when faced with the most dire, most desperate situations, how all of us look for someone else to save us. And that is as relevant in the 80s as it is today. I think maybe even more relevant today, that yearning for a savior. And Elsa's story is about how we tend to, prop up the wrong people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, we have so much talk about here, especially like I actually wanted you to try and invite Gen Z people using their language to watch Himala. I don't know kung kaya eh. Kaya ba yan? Or
I don't know. But what I will say, a lot of people, doing a musical, MMFF is a big risk, of course, with a cast of not typical quote-unquote box office stars. And as I said, the genre isn't so popular in a sense in terms of MMFF. And when people always say, such a big risk, and you're a little bit worried. They said the same thing to us when we were releasing Gumburza last year. They said, they said, historical movies, people don't really watch that at MMFF. It's maybe too serious.
I'll fight people on
which
that.
Himala is actually not that serious as Gumburza. It has light moments. People also said, your lead actors, you're not typical box office. But it was Gen Z who really came and watched the film and tweeted about it and posted about it and TikToked about it and asked their theaters to play it. And so I think the younger audience is really looking for something new in terms of what they watch in cinemas.
100%.
This year is a milestone. It's the 50th year of the Metro Manila Film Festival. And all of the producers, it's a great lineup. We're all very excited and honored to be part of it.
I've seen the films, and I saw an interview with your producer, and then she said that they were not expecting actually to be selected for this year's MMFF, right? Because usually they get like the big stars and everything. What was your reaction like when you were selected to be part of this year's list?
Also very surprised. We were not expecting really to get in, but very grateful because MMFF is really the only time of the year where Filipino films are allowed or given that platform to flourish in our cinemas. Because other than that, we have to compete with Hollywood, and it's been very, very hard for our industry. So with the MMFF, with this platform, I think this kind of film with our attack really needed this. So we're very grateful for it.
Has
Yeah.
there been a memorable moment for you, Direct, during the whole filming process of Himala?
Memorable moment.
Like your favorite moment?
So many, but because we built a whole barangay inside of this studio,
Oh, wow.
inside of soundstage, and we had to fill it with hundreds of people, and every day was an experience. Like just setting foot on set on the first day, which you can see here was such a big experience. Having Sir Ricky come, having some cast members from the original Himala visit our set as well. And because of this film, I also got to briefly work with Ms. Nora Honor because she has a little bit of an involvement in the film. We're very
nice.
honored.
Wow,
And-
is that a spoiler? Or?
No, well, she's in the trailer. She's in, she's in the
that's
trailer.
right, that's right, that's
But
right.
seeing her read a script like this up close,
Yeah.
and then watching her imbibe the words, what an experience!
And how were you feeling?
What an experience.
Like, what were your thoughts when she was doing
Pinching
that?
myself.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Was there any pressure
Yeah.
knowing that some of the original cast members were there? Obviously, Sir Ricky Lee was there,
They
but
were-
then, yeah.
Yeah, Sir Ricky came. It was just a lot of love. And, people who are involved in the production of Himala, this is the kind of production that stays with them for years. And they're so encouraging and, just a lot of love for the material.
What do you think the late Ishmael Bernal would be feeling, telling you right now as you redo his masterpiece from the 80s?
Well, Sir Ricky was asked that question, and I will
Okay.
just repeat what Sir Ricky said because I would shudder to think. Talaga. But Sir Ricky said that he thinks that Ishma would be amused by it, and that the film would make him smile. Sir Ricky's seen it, and to see him also smile at the end of watching it was a great moment for me.
Yeah, just looking at this, we were talking a bit about the 80s in the past, and there's such a great legacy of filmmakers from that time. Do you feel that in some way, siguro, that this generation of filmmakers are starting to carry that torch? We were talking a while ago just how it feels that Filipino movies are becoming more, I guess, more invested in the stories that they're telling, more invested in their production, even in the way that they create films. Do you feel that it's a bit of a throwback to what we've had in the 80s, where arguably 80s, 70s, probably one of the heydays of Philippine cinema?
They call it the second golden age of Philippine cinema, and I think that as filmmakers, we all really have to take it upon ourselves to sort of carry on the torch in a way, but also build on what previous generations have given us. We used to have one of the biggest industries in the world, really. And I once read that in Asia, we were probably number 2 to India or Japan at one point. So we really had a big industry. And unfortunately, I would say I always chalk it up to a lot of government intervention. We were overtaxed for a very, very long time. And that really hurt us. That tax has been eased. And so since then, I think you can point to a moment on that map where they lowered the amusement tax from 30 to 10. And you can see how film has steadily risen through then. Of course, the pandemic fortunately hurt us. But yeah, we're back, and we're really trying to make things happen. It's still a struggle outside of the festival, but yeah, hopefully we are challenged. Filmmakers we are challenged to deliver better productions and new kinds of stories for our audience, because we know that they watch all kinds of movies.
And I feel like it's getting better and better. Every year, the lineup for the MMFF, it just gets better and better. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about last year's entry, Gomburza, of course, where you won Best Director. Congratulations. Are you, and also that movie swept the most awards, right? Cinematography, if I'm not mistaken, Best Actor as well,
First
right?
Edward, yeah.
So congratulations. Are you still reeling from that win from last
Reeling.
year?
Well, reading from the reaction, I saw a post just a couple of days ago where it was actually the 6th most searched film on Google.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And we really were not expecting for the audience to embrace. I guess so many reservations about the genre and directors, quote unquote. But I was just very happy about how the reaction went. Last year was such an experience for me because at MMFF, you don't really hear about like doing talkbacks after movies is something that you usually do for like independent film festivals like Cignal or Q Cinema. But we wanted to do that for MMFF last year, and so we would go around with the actors, and after screenings, we would talk to the audience and hold forums, and it was like bringing an independent sort of experience to the MMFF, and hearing the reactions and answering questions was a great part of the process for all of us, really.
Yeah, Anne was really saying all of the accolades. She forgot to mention Best Director 2023.
I said.
Narinig ko Best Actor.
No, I did.
But
Best Director, that's like on top.
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
of course.
But Direk, obviously, with Gumburza being as successful as it was, is there, para sa'yo ba, any added pressure to follow it up? Kasi, minsan yung expectation nandun when they say that it's a film by X director, Y director.
Right.
Without Converge, I don't think we would have been able to make Isang Himala. In terms of, because of the support that we got from the last year's MMFF, we got the opportunity to do this. And I really hope that audiences also come out to see the film.
What do you think would be next for you, Direct? So after this, do you have another project that you have in mind? Because I'm sure people will watch anything that you direct.
Hopefully.
Like, people are going to be so excited to see that.
Well, I am working on a horror film.
I don't like
hopefully that will
horror
be
films.
next.
Yeah.
Horror
But I'll watch
film.
it because it's you, Direct.
Are you one of those people who don't watch
I get
horror
scared
films?
with horror. I'm super matakutin, so we'll see. We'll see.
You know how some Filipinos are, manonood sila ng horror movies sa cinema and then they laugh at the scary parts.
Which is great.
Yeah,
Which is great.
yeah.
Which is great.
No, I know. The reason why we're asking is because we want to get killed in your next movie. Well,
We would
at least
love to
I
be-
want to
we
be
would
killed
love
in
to
your
be
next
extras.
movie.
Can you get us Pao wants, si Pao daw ang dream niya is to get shot.
No, I
Shot,
actually
yeah,
he said that
or
last
anything.
time.
Like I've said this on air. I want to get shot on TV. Obviously in a film or a series. I'm just saying it'll be the most dramatic thing.
You can do that here. You don't have to do
No,
it.
I know, but there's no
We can
real
hook you up.
Buy me a
story.
paintball gun.
There's no real story there. Wala eh, talo eh. And like I have an uncle who's a filmmaker. He hasn't killed me yet. All right, no, that's
But
not fair.
Direk is gonna make that happen for you. Well, anyway, Gumburza, it resonated well with a young audience, right? From last year, which was such a surprise because historic movie show. We were talking about that a while ago. And do you see this happening as well with Himala? And you being a young director, do you think that
Youngish.
gives you, not young, not youngish, but really a young director, does that give you an edge?
Well, I don't know, but I think that audiences, maybe of all ages, are looking for films that give an emotional experience.
Yeah.
And also films that make us think. And I think what's nice about MMFF is that you have this buffet of different kinds of
Yes,
films.
true.
Films that make you laugh, make you cry, and also make you think. And when I watched Himala, that's the experience that it gave me, and that's the same experience that I hope to give to viewers this MMFF also. It's really, the story is really something that will stick with you.
Well, we're excited. I can't wait to watch it Christmas Day. We're all gonna go after the show, okay?
100%. Well,
No, December 25th.
December
We have
25,
work,
yeah,
so we
absolutely.
will watch.
Could you describe the audience now, in your opinion? Because we mentioned a while ago, historical films. They're actually doing a lot better than more people realize. Gomburza, Henra Luna, Goyo. There's so many good historical films. In fact, actually, that was part of a trilogy apart from Gomburza. What in particular, how would you describe the current audience that you're catering to, and the Philippine audience is right now? It feels like it has evolved, it has changed.
It has changed, and this is because we're on Billionario. No. And I say this because we're on Billionario. But according to the data last year, the audience for MMFF was ABC. And
Really?
It goes against the typical, thinking that MMFF was a CDE festival. And I think it's because of the ticket prices. Ticket prices are just so high. The cheapest ticket is 370 pesos. If you're a family of 4, it will cost you probably 2,000 pesos for tickets, food, drinks, transportation. And so that changed the makeup of the audience. And I think that's what studios are seeing, that the audience that will watch films in the cinemas are an ABC audience.
That's super interesting, and I honestly want to learn more. But right now, Direk, again, first of all, good luck sa Isang Himala.
Yes.
Good luck for the MMFF, and we'll see if you can repeat yung Best Director.
Well, hopefully, I just hope that the film finds its audience there.
100%. But here, we're cheering for you. Good luck again, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you very much, Direk. Pepe Diokno, ladies and gentlemen, Isang Himala showing in cinemas on Christmas Day, December 25th.